Ladies and gentlemen, this is the How to Otaku podcast. Welcome.
Yeah.
We're about to cover the first half of our currently last part of JoJo's. So if you've been following along with us, we've been watching a lot of JoJo's. It's been like our ongoing series.
Yeah.
We're caught up.
Yeah.
We've got the end of this season, so one more episode after this one, and then you're free from the JoJo mines until part 7 comes out. So that being said, I'm Brogan.
I'm Josh. And I'm Chippy!
What? Huh?
Welcome to How to Otaku!
What
The show where we do one show at a time in this beloved Japanese medium.
So for the audio listeners, there is is it a puppet?
No, that's Chippy. It's Chippy. I'm Chippy!
This is beloved How to Otaku character Chippy here to deliver his patented Chippy monologue. Go on, Chippy, you got it?
This week we're talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I already covered that. You got anything else, bud?
This voice is hard to do that. You gotta edit all this shit out.
I'm willing to sit here with the puppet. We can just make this a really long and uncomfortable bit where the puppet sits here and stares deeply into the souls of the...
If you want new Chippy merchandise, go to howtootaku.com/Chippy.
Dial 1, right? Listeners, dial 1 right now if you want Chippy to be a recurring character on the show.
This week we're talking about Stone Ocean, which is, in my opinion, the worst part yet.
That's enough out of you. All right.
Oh man,
Good stuff.
I got his heart right here. I think.
Kalima. So yeah, that was Chippy.
That was Chippy.
Visit howtootaku.com/Chippy.
Yeah.
For a special surprise.
Yeah. Anyways, Stone Ocean.
Ocean.
This part is, I don't know if it's shaping up to be my favorite. That's tough. It's tough when Diamond is Unbreakable is there.
It's tough when Diamond is Unbreakable
but,
is there.
Like, I think in a lot of ways it is kind of like a synthesis of all of the parts of all the other parts that I like, right?
Yeah, I mean it's got really strong characters.
It does.
It's got a really strong through line.
Mm-hmm.
It's got very strong sense of like the familial bond and the connection because Jotaro's a vegetable.
R.I.P. Jojo.
It has got all of it going on for it, and then also it's hot bisexual Florida women staging a prison break, which is dope. So yeah, part 6 is sick.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like I mean, Jolene Cujo is like kind of what I wanted Jotaro to be, right? Like,
right.
She has a bit of like that stoicism to her, but she's not devoid of personality.
Right. She can take things seriously, but she is also a teenage girl. She's like actually a character and a person and not just like a walking wall of flesh.
Yeah, and more importantly, she's not the one who's in the background for 90% of the episode until at some point he's just like, good grief.
Yeah.
Which, no disrespect to Jotaro Kujo, he's gotten a lot better in the more recent parts, but part 3...
All disrespect to Jotaro Kujo, I'm glad he's in a fucking coma.
God damn. But yeah, like
I celebrated when I read part 6, and I was because I was marathoning that shit. Like I had finished part 3 maybe a week and a half ago, and so I had done 4 or 5, and then gotten to 6, And I was like, motherfucker, why is Jotaro back? Thank God! Yeah, I popped the fuck off when they put him in a coma.
Yeah, you have a little bit more Jotaro beef than I do, I guess.
I'm being hyperbolic, but I just like...
He's a little bit overrated in the fan base.
I was so ready for him to show up and just like take over and be the main character of the part. And I didn't want that. And so when they take the CD out of his brain, I was like, yeah!
But yeah, so we're finally back in America for the first time in 4 parts, right? We were there briefly in part 2, but
very briefly in part 2.
Since then it's basically just been, Japan and Italy, right?
Yes.
But
and we have traveled
and traveling through the East and the Middle East, but
we have gone from now New York
to Florida,
which is a very different part of American for our non-American listeners.
Yeah.
Florida is interesting. Home of Disney World. And the one guy that did so much bath salts that he turned into a zombie and ripped that other guy's face off.
Yeah.
Alligator wrestling.
I mean, if we're talking about New York to Florida, there's an obvious, connection there. But
the migration of the retired.
Yeah.
The Jewish grandmothers flying south for the summer.
I was just talking about the one business magnate who didn't who never did anything important ever after just doing a bunch of real estate.
Listen, we're not worried
and a
about
TV
him.
show. He retired and nothing else ever happened.
Jerry Seinfeld?
Jerry Seinfeld. That's who we're talking about, of course.
Jerry Seinfeld.
This is not an ad for Unfrosted now on Netflix.
I don't even want to know.
I told you about the Pop-Tart movie.
That's right, the Jerry Seinfeld Pop-Tart movie. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about hot bisexual women breaking out of prison.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this part has a lot of the kind of ennui is not the right word, but just like a culmination almost.
Yeah,
this is like taking the elements because and I don't want to spoil it too much, but they do actually break out of prison eventually, and they explore Florida.
Yeah.
Which becomes
so we have a Florida man arc coming. Okay.
We do have a Florida man arc coming,
but there's a little bit of representation there. I mean, it's an island prison. And you have you have a pretty diverse set of people in that prison, and on top of that, there's the gators and such, So as far as Florida representation goes, it's doing okay so far,
Right.
We also have a hit and run, which is pretty Florida.
Right. We have criminal activity in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is very Florida. We have invisible zombie alligators, which is again very Florida.
Yeah. I feel like the stand users would congregate in Florida because that's where they can blend in the best, Maybe that's what all the Florida men are is stand users, and we just don't know it.
New York City, Orlando, Florida, Los Angeles,
probably Portland. They could probably get away with
Portland, and Austin, Texas.
Yeah,
those are like the stand user.
Those are the
capitals
stand
of
hubs.
The U.S. Obviously. Well, and
we're uncovering the deep conspiracy.
We are. So, and here's the thing: that is lore accurate because you're aware of stand magnetism, right?
Oh yes.
So stand users are drawn to one another through fate, through magnetism.
Yeah.
So I mean, they probably are all in Florida.
But yeah, so. Jolene Cujo, daughter of Jotaro Cujo, anglicized the last name a little bit. But
yes.
we're introduced to her through a hit and run that she has been framed for by a dude with elf ears who never shows up again, I presume.
Nope.
I was just watching this guy who seemed like a nice lawyer otherwise, but had elf ears, and I was like, is this a clue? And then he betrayed her. I was like, oh yeah, that was a clue.
Yeah. We get introduced very quickly in the very beginning of part 6 to a lot of critters.
Yeah.
the elf-eared lawyer, the egg-headed penitentiary.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the I don't know what to call him, but like the prison guard, I guess.
Yeah.
With the puppet. Oh my god, dude.
And even like the prison guard who has like a weird suicide thing going on is kind of he kind of looks a little bit funny. Like he looks a little bit too square jawed.
Right?
Yep. And he's like
he looks like Pippin from fucking Berserk.
That's a good pull. But yeah, like she gets framed, and then but she gets sent a little package from her father, and what's in the package but some little like brooch or something, and she cuts her thumb on it and she gets a stand, which, whatever, we're just
well, the brooch is a stand arrow.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a little chip of the stand arrow in it, which I was under the impression that if it broke, it wouldn't work, but you know
nope.
What? Okay.
Listen, man, anything we can do to get new stands.
So if you grind up the stand arrow into a paste and dump it into the ocean, then anybody who goes into the ocean gets a stand.
I'm going to grind the stand arrow so fine that I can aerosolize it and put it in the chemtrails behind the planes. Just officially, this is the conspiracy theory episode of our JoJo's coverage. So get it out of your system. Anything you can pull. We're in Florida, baby. I'm gonna make stand chemtrails.
Yeah, but when she finally, before she gets in, she's introduced to, God, names I'm forgetting.
You talking about on the bus?
Yes, Hermes Costello.
Hermes, yeah.
Yeah, who, oh, you know what? Before all this happens, we have to talk about Jolene's other introduction, which is, odd.
It's not odd. What's odd about it? Everybody does it. Everybody does it.
That's
Come
true.
on.
That's true. Everybody does do it,
Everybody does it. If you don't do it, then you're lying or you're sad. And I'm sorry.
But like none of the other JoJos are introduced in such a way. They get cool badass moments, and then she's just in a prison cell lamenting.
God damn it! I'm in a prison cell. Fucking the light from the window. It just
Yeah, I can't say I relate to that, but
so Jolene Cujo's horny ass gets thrown on a bus and
goes to horny jail.
Yeah. Truly her only crime. But she meets Hermes. She meets her immediate bunk buddy turns her into a 1-inch tall person and puts her in a rat suit. Guess.
Guess?
Yeah, it's just guess.
Hang on.
In English, it's Gwess.
Well, I'm also getting that from the wiki, so,
Oh, no, they did call her Gwess. No, it's just Guess. So, Hermes, Guess, they're all like fashion brands, Sports Max.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the theme they've got going on in naming conventions. They're all like fashion brands. But yeah, Gwess or Guess.
Yeah.
I will be saying Guess. Just a bunch of weirdos, man. Just a bunch of weird little critters. Exactly the types of people that you would think would be in jail in Florida and also have stands. Like, there's a motherfucker that the kid,
Emporio.
Yeah. Who's just been living in a crack in the wall in the prison in a room that another dude called Anasui just made. And he's also there, and nobody's really sure why. He's just in prison.
Yeah. He's just there. And then there's Weather Report as well.
Yeah, there's Weather Report and his stand Weather Report and his stand Weather Report and his stand Weather Report.
Don't they go into it and it's like, oh, he like chopped up a whole bunch of people and felt no remorse.
He's a like confirmed serial killer sociopath. He's a fucking weirdo.
Oh, I thought you were. I didn't recognize your sarcasm earlier. That's my bad. I woke up like an hour and a half ago. Give me a break.
I also woke up not very long ago. Hey guys, I'm gonna take a quick aside here. Monster Hunter's really good. Monster Hunter Wilds is so good. Oh, I'm officially at endgame. The game came out 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I beat the whole thing. I hit credits. I'm at endgame now. Combat system is great. The maps are great. Everything looks gorgeous when it runs good.
This is why we need compulsory employment.
Come on.
Yeah. It's good you're having fun with that, though.
It's so good.
All my other friends are having fun with it, and I'm just sitting at the window.
It's so
just
good.
Watching.
The only problem, Capcom, I don't know what you guys got going on over there. PC performance needs some work. Apparently the console performance does as well. So
that's the weird thing, though, is that like all the other RE Engine games run really, really well.
So the main thing, as far as I can tell, that is causing that is that RE Engine is much more suited for kind of smaller environments.
Yeah.
So Resident Evil, right?
Yeah, but even like Street Fighter 6 didn't launch that bad.
Right, but again, that's a smaller environment. It's literally one box.
Well, no, the World Tour mode has like a whole open area.
I had severe performance issues with that on my old rig. I haven't tried it again since I've upgraded, but I had.
Maybe I'm misremembering, or I
just
had like the right specs at the time that run well, but whatever.
Right, I was willing to chalk up my bad performance to just like old hardware, but even then it wasn't that old, so it was like, but. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Anyways,
back to
JoJo's. Yeah, sorry about that.
So they spend a little bit of time here just getting you acquainted to like, the way the prison operates, right? And it's a very, like there's a whole barter system, and like there are people getting bribed to like hold spaces at a payphone or whatever,
Right.
Like all that sort of shit. And they even
like every bad stereotype you've ever heard about a prison. It's like, yep, we got gangs, we got a full barter trade system, we got literally extortion, we got guard bribing, we got fucking
we got people stashing their money in breast implants, which goes hard. Like, just cutting yourself back open, goddamn. But
the people are making shanks out of fucking thin air because it's JoJo's, and fuck it, whatever. I guess you can do that.
Yeah, and I think Jolene is reasonably like, I've got to get the fuck out of here.
I'm not supposed to be here.
So she tries a couple of escape attempts that don't really work out all that well. Like, the first time. Is with let me double check the name. Goo Goo Dolls, or Guess, I guess is her name.
Yes.
Who like is her like weird roommate who is like a bipolar, I guess. It would be the best way to put it.
Psychotic.
Bipolar and psychotic, but like, has the stand that can like just shrink people based on proximity, like, and so she uses this to like fit the people in these little like rat suits,
human pets, and like do a little dance, my little rat pet.
But even then, it's not like she's just doing it for that. She's also just doing it because like she wants to have a little dude go out there and figure out a way for her to escape.
Right.
And then Jolene is like, well, I guess I need to escape
She
too.
put a man in a bird.
So I'm willing to put up with this bullshit if
Right.
it gets me out. But that escape attempt doesn't really work out.
Right, because proximity based,
Yeah.
she gets far enough away, and then she's just stuck in a fucking like a airlock, basically, like a detainment airlock,
Yeah.
where it's like a gate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, and I will say, I think that Part 6 has a lot of the strongest sand encounters.
Yeah.
Like the zero gravity shit.
Oh,
with,
yeah,
Weather
yeah.
Report and Jolene and
Who's the other guy?
Jailhouse Lock, right?
Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Jumpin' Jack Flash. The Survivor arc, which we should also. The main thing here is Joestar Bloodline and Dio Brando back at it again, baby. There is a priest at this prison named Father Enrico Pucci, who used to be Dio's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he is trying to bring Dio back and reset the world.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's kind of like a fucking, like, little cult situation where it's like, I'm your lover / religious devotee, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, like, Dio dies and, like, Jotaro gets a hold of this book and that Dio wrote and about how to get to heaven or something like that.
Right, how to achieve heaven.
There's a lot of philosophical talk that he does that goes over my head, to be honest. He's like, well, what if you could get to heaven by eating a sandwich every day for the rest of your life or some bullshit? And I'm like, okay.
If you knew how to achieve heaven, what would stop you?
I don't know. I mean,
wouldn't you do anything?
I'd like to know. I'd like to know I'd like to know what's going on in heaven first. Actually, can God send me a little travel brochure to be like, here's what's going on in heaven. Here's the perks.
Well, it is very.
Here's
weird.
what your chore expectations will be. All
if we
shit.
want to kind of, and we can probably do this in the second part a little bit more, but. It's a very interesting character analysis of Father Pucci, and we actually will get into it more in the second part. But just the idea of a person who has been convinced by Dio that he is I don't even know.
We saw a little bit of that in part 3, where it's like he has all these other followers, but like we never got into their heads about that.
But to see somebody who's like convinced that this is a power of God, right? Mm-hmm. Which like any normal person, what else would you fucking think? You know? Especially if you are so steeped in that religious ideology already. Mm-hmm. And so then
and just kind of physique though,
but then they get like pulled along and like this is I will tell you how to achieve heaven.
Yeah.
He's like stuck in it. He's like, okay,
yeah,
I know how to do it. I gotta do this now.
Yeah, and so he's just in the background, like we having some issues.
I don't know when that happened.
Oh shit.
Camera.
Let me
There we go. No memory card and low battery.
Okay. Hang on. Let me change the battery real quick, and we'll be right back.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're having some technical difficulties right now. We will return shortly.
Hello.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. Sorry about those issues. Shit happens. But
so that dynamic of Pucci and Jolene and kind of being like a step removed from the direct conflict of like the Joestar bloodline and Dio Brando.
Well, even Dio 2 and Jotaro Kujo are kind of one step removed from Jonathan and Dio Brando. Right. it's all this thing where it's like, now we're on like the 8th generation of this beef, and it's like...
Right, and it's very interesting to see how we've evolved from, like, this actually gives me the sense more than part 3 did, that it is like an evolution in the generational beef,
Yeah.
Whereas like before it was kind of just like, oh, Dio is back and now he has stands.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like stands.
Dio's back, he's pissed,
Right. And
Jaws 2,
but this
Jaws 4,
time,
The Revenge.
where we've seen that there is enough going on in this world now with stands, where the Joestars are still involved, where it's like, okay, they've got their own thing going on, but there is still this.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Part 6 handles a lot of stuff about the series very well, I think.
Yeah.
And it got kind of... The fan base was kind of split on it for a while because part 7 exists.
Okay.
And everybody was like, just skip part 6, go to part 7. Part 6 is
rude.
really good. People are like, oh, part 5 and part 7 are like, oh.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of strong parts about part 6 that people just kind of gloss over.
I think that, so my understanding of what part 7 is going to be is that's, in the same way that, or even more so than the way that part 2 and part 3, there's a little bit of a schism there with the transition from Hamon to stands, right? My understanding is that part 6 to 7 is like that as well.
Yes.
So
it is a complete universe reset. There are some core concepts that are similar. Yeah. Otherwise, everything is different.
Yeah, but if you think about it in that way, then part 6 is the culmination of all of this, right? Of this particular from 3 to 6 era of stands, and this whole continuation of the stand era. And it's if you're thinking about it from that perspective, then this is... I don't know. I'm not ready to say that it's better than Diamond is Unbreakable yet, but it's neck and neck right now.
We'll see how you feel about that by the time we get to.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not there, it might be my second or third favorite part. Which
it's
is not
really solid.
which is not not low praise.
Right. Again, the tier list of JoJo's already the entirety of it. The JoJo's tier list is already sitting at A plus, S plus. Yeah, in that range.
Yeah, the D. I mean, the D on the JoJo's part is the equivalent of a B anything else.
Right.
Even most of the Star Wars movies are not as good as the worst JoJo part.
The best Star Wars is not as good as the worst JoJo.
I'm saying even the B tier of Star Wars is not as good as the worst of JoJo's,
Even if you were saying it the other way, I would have agreed with you.
I like Star Wars, but fan base, you'll need to get your act together. Just chill the fuck out. These are movies about space wizards intended for children. Chill the fuck out.
Tweaking about movies about space wizards intended for children. Which, I guess we're just going to do a Star Wars aside now, too. George Lucas, I don't give two shits about the Skywalkers. You made a really interesting universe with a lot of really interesting things going on, and then you focused your entire story on the least interesting part of it. Why?
I mean, that's just Joseph Campbell shit, but that's a Patreon episode there, we discuss the roots of narrative storytelling.
Yeah. I mean, because it literally is just the monomyth. Whatever, man.
Anyways, back to the second form of storytelling, which is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. We have the Joseph Campbell and then Joseph Joestar. But yeah, they eventually, after a couple of escape attempts, Jotaro shows up and he's like, yo, there's this dude here who is the guy who set you up.
Yeah,
who paid to set you up.
Sucks that you're in prison right now, but like, there's a couple things that we can do about it.
Yeah.
That I mean, legality. Don't ask me about that. But we got these cool guys called the Speedwagons. And,
Yeah.
Don't worry, they got you.
Which, like, it's been a little while since we've seen the Speedwagon Foundation. Like, was it part 4 was the last time
I believe so. But it's like every single fucking time
Yeah.
the Speedwagon Foundation is mentioned, I'm just like, holy shit.
It's the Speedwagon Foundation.
Speedwagon was such a good friend to to Jonathan Joestar.
Yeah.
That his great grandchildren,
his delightful influence is still being
brought
to this day.
And that's why Robert E.O. Speedwagon is best girl.
Yeah.
I don't know what Robert E.O. Speedway is the only acceptable answer.
Yeah, but so they finally get together in this room, and that's like, oh fuck, we're getting attacked by a stand, and that's a cool and interesting battle with Manhattan Transfer,
It's a like, really cool battle.
Fucking ricocheting a bullet off of a stand.
Right.
Which, like, I don't even know how you figure out that's how your stand works.
But also, so there's also the twist of the fucking sleepy goo.
Yeah, the sleepy goo, which that's who is that? Is that Made in Heaven?
No, that's not Made in Heaven.
I'm sorry. I watched the English dub, and unlike all of the other parts, this one was done by Netflix. Netflix had the rights to this. And they do this funny thing where instead of translating the literal Japanese to English for the English subtitles, and not worrying about the way the lips move or anything at all, they just transcribed the English dub. So all of the names I got were the names that I got. So I'm trying to like piecemeal everything back together as a result. So, almost as... I don't want to say almost as fun as JoJo's, but like actually part of the fun of watching the dubs is being like,
it really is. It's like,
what was the intended thing here?
It's like, so, and that's something that is frustrating about that to me is that we already had the goofy ass English translated names that they've been using that they could have just kept using. And instead of getting Flaccid Pancake, we get Limp Biscuit.
Yeah.
Which, like, pick a lane, guys. Are we Limp Biscuit? Are we Flaccid fucking Pancake?
Flaccid Pancake is great, though. I would name a band Flaccid Pancake.
You could, and it would be hilarious, and it would work with the fight.
If we ever get a merch store going, I told you about this, but like to fucking do a whole like fucking festival sheet with all of the names of the the shitty stand translations.
But it's goofy. It's stupid. I understand why they have to do it, but how
much would it cost for them to license the names for all of these bands? Is my question.
I want to get to a point where JoJo's is big enough that they just can.
Yeah.
The answer is fucking astronomical amounts of money. The answer is like more than Ichiro Oda has made off of One Piece. But
I mean, I don't know do you think that if Araki did a Zoom call with Dave Grohl that they couldn't work something out for free? They could do it.
If I'm Dave Grohl, I'm calling Araki. I'm like, please.
Well, if you were anybody, you would call Araki. Everlong. Now. But yeah,
me when I call the Foo Fighters instead of the firefighters.
Yeah, but they finally have this this standoff with John Gallier.
John Gallier. Yeah.
And Poochie. And, we figure out Whitesnake's, fucking, his stand, which is to literally rip the souls and stands out of people to discs and take them out of the person and leave that person a husk.
Yep. And this introduces yet another way that people can get stands. So in the view of Whitesnake, any person is two discs. Their soul disc and their stand disc. Some people don't have stand discs because they're just, they're lesser, I guess. Sorry. Mm-hmm. But if you take these discs out of somebody, they become a Jotaro vegetable. And the only way to keep them alive is through billions of dollars of investment and never before seen technology that the Speedwagon Foundation is able to develop at the drop of a hat.
IV dripping, motherfucker.
They put him in the fucking Bacta tank.
And as all Star Wars fans know, you never say no to Bacta. But
blue milk. So this now sets up a multi-folded problem for Jolene. First of all, Father Enrico Pucci is trying to reset the fucking world. Second of all, my dad is dead.
Yeah. And thirdly, Pucci's trying to kill me. And then fourthly,
I'm in fucking jail!
Yeah.
For a crime I didn't commit!
Yeah. And we talked about, I'm trying to bring some of this back to, the earlier stuff we discussed in JoJo's because we're kind of wrapping the show up. But, it's interesting to see, literally part one is, fucking millionaire English prick, or not prick, but, just little English guy.
Dapper English gentleman. Jonathan Joestar.
Dapper English gentleman, loses it all. And then, 3 generations later, they get it back thanks to the generosity of the Speedwagon Foundation. But then, as you're going on, you're kind of slowly going down the rung of status, right? The Joestar or the Jonathan Joestar's family just has old money, right? Yeah. And then Joseph Joestar's is new money through the Speedwagon Foundation,
right?
And then the Cujos are well off, but not they're not
balling.
They're not balling, and they need the money that Joseph has to do all the expedition, right? And then Josuke and his family are just suburban living and in
just
fucking
in middle of nowhere Japan,
and then we literally have the slums of Italy.
Right, literally Italian gangster living as a street rat in the fucking
but still in still in society, not behind bars,
right?
And now Jolene's
now false imprisonment, Florida backwater bum,
which is interesting that that also follows from Europe to Asia to America. Richest country in the world, some might say.
There's actually a really cool fan project of motion comics that somebody did about JoJo's in South America.
Okay.
Which is really cool. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but the guy that voice acted Abakio in part 5 in the English dub is a old Newgrounds cartoonist called Rice Pirate.
Oh, really?
And he did kind of, I think it's called it's not Blood Meridian, but it's something like that. It's look up Rice Pirate JoJo's fan comic, and
this is cool.
It's pretty interesting.
I mean, imagine being that guy. Imagine being a Newgrounds animator doing some fan work, and then all of a sudden it's oh, I'm on JoJo's for real. Wow.
Right?
Yeah, but this kind of like sets up the whole, like I need to get my dad's discs back,
Right.
like I need to retrieve his soul.
I need to break out of prison. I need to retrieve my dad's soul. I need to stop Poochie.
Yep. And how are you gonna do all those things?
Who fucking knows? I kind of got Spider-Man shit going on.
Yeah. Oh my
Which,
God.
like, the way... that's the other thing, is the ways that Jolene uses Stone Free.
Yeah. Insane.
Bro! Like, because sometimes it really is just like Spider-Man, like, and the thing with the baseball, there's like a gambling game thing that they do, where they have to catch the ball 100 times, and it goes exactly how you think it would in JoJo's, and eventually Jolene just like wraps the ball with her string and fucking punches this bitch 1,000 times through the bars of the and then she turns herself into thread, and I don't know if we've gotten there yet, but
yeah, like, she can literally like detach her arm and have it like hanging by a thread, and then just use the thread to punch somebody, or use the hand to punch. Like it is an incredibly versatile stand, though I think they point out that it doesn't have much of a range. So, like it's always just this power balancing thing with JoJo's, where it's like, with very limited exceptions, there are no stands that are inherently invincible,
Right, and that ties in very very directly to Survivor, right?
Yeah.
So this is where we get some of the like in-universe power scaling stuff, because Poochie has a conversation with Dio in the past.
Yeah.
Retreat with me to the past in my palace of the mind. So they have this conversation about, what do you think the weakest stand is? Like, what is the weakest stand? Because, like, obviously, like, some of this shit is just so specific that it's like there's no reason it would ever have any use, right? And Dio is like, well, if you want to talk about, like, traditional power, there's a stand called Survivor that does basically nothing. It is not a stand as you would think of it in a traditional sense. It is not a punching ghost. It can't help you move faster or jump further or punch people.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it can. That's all it does.
Because it sends electrical signals through water to anybody else
through
in
the
ground.
Water. Yeah. Through anything.
And it instigates aggression in people to the point where they will just punch each other to death with it, like,
right. It's like,
and like break their own bones in the process.
It's like Monster Hunter Frenzy disease. But yeah, so and like traditionally in a one-on-one stand fight, that wouldn't be great, but we are shown very directly what it can be useful for. And so we get, Jolene ends up in like solitary confinement because she's trying to break out of fucking prison, and she's getting in fights with inmates. So they throw her in solitary. And while she's in solitary, all fucking hell breaks loose.
Yeah, like all of the doors go open, and through some crazy circumstance, but like at that point it's like, okay, now everybody wants to beat the fuck out of each other, and like even Jolene has, like feels the influence of it, where she's like, why the fuck do I want to beat these people up so bad?
God, that guy has a real punchable face. It's so good. It's so fucking solid.
Yeah, and then they really fuck up that old man.
How many times?
Which, to be fair, he is a piece of shit.
Old man. He is. Which, I mean, like, I'm just following the feng shui, dude.
Yeah, Yeah, but they also even give him a little weird backstory where he's like the fucking leader of Scientology or some shit. Scientology meets Waco. You know, like...
That's the other thing. About 2/3 of the characters we run into, you'll get like some flashback about like the horrible fucked up thing they did to get thrown in prison.
Yeah, which like that's the great thing about prison is just like, you have an excuse to get all the worst people in a society together.
But then also like you have an opportunity to tell really interesting moral stories about like Irma's.
Yeah.
Her sister got murdered by Sports Max.
Yeah.
And so now she has just been doing everything she can to get into prison. Just like committing crimes for the fuck of it to get noticed by the police to get into the same prison that Sports Max is in so that she can kill his bitch ass.
Which, like, her stand is insane. Like, the fucking...
Oh, yeah, stickers, being able to put a sticker on a thing, and then you have two of the thing, and then you take a sticker off, and then it goes back into the same thing. Which is, like, just, like, first of all, duplication in itself is crazy.
Yeah.
But then the fact that there is, like, an inherent force
to
the recombination.
Yeah.
Crazy. Foo Fighters is fucking crazy.
Foo Fighters is insane too. Like Plankton Stan. Plankton? I can't do the fucking Plankton voice. I'm sorry. But like, oh my god, dude. Like I can kind of understand why fucking Araki needed a reset after this, because like we are reaching the point where it's like, what else do you come up with as far as the stand is concerned? Though maybe he has some other insane shit planned. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's Araki. He has insane shit planned, but like,
there are 3 more parts. Plenty of insane shit.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that like he kind of needs a new framework at a certain point.
Right, we're hitting a wall here, especially considering that he really likes telling like contemporary stories.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's got the framework where it's kind of been decade by decade.
Yeah,
and so once we reach like contemporary 2009 or so, and we're caught up and we're running it, and the end of part 6 happens, which I won't spoil here. You kind of don't leave your like. What I will say is that what happens at the end of part 6 is a fairly definitive end to the story of the Joestar bloodline versus Dio.
Okay.
I can't really say much else beyond that. I do not.
Do not say. I haven't been this invested in a long running story in a very long time, so please keep the spoilers from me. But like, what was I about to say? I had a thought and I lost it. Put that on a fucking t-shirt. I say that all the goddamn time. But yeah, like, just cool shit all around. Like you said, like, fucking weather report, which I thought was a busted stand at first, where he's just like, I can create spacesuits out of fucking clouds, and it's like, okay, what can't you do then?
If you already thought weather report was busted,
oh great,
oh boy. Oh boy.
But like I said, like, it's this insane level of creativity where like I'm watching a stand fight as just like a normal brained person, and I'm like, I don't understand how they can defeat this person, and then they find a way. They
find a way.
They always find some little weakness or loophole. And it's like,
oh, of course. Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. You just fucking bleed on all the invisible zombies, and then that you can see them because.
Yeah, like, just wow, man. I'm gonna kind of miss this show, but we not to get too far ahead, but we got something cool planned.
We do have something cool planned.
So
we actually Yeah. To directly get too far ahead, our entire schedule is changing.
Yeah, I mean, not changing in the sense that, like, you know, we're not canceling anything that's already been announced.
The format is still as usual, 2 episodes a month.
Yeah.
An episode every 2 months on the Patreon.
Yep, and the episodes we've announced are all happening when they're supposed to happen.
Except for Hellsing Ultimate. We mentioned that by name in the last episode.
Are we not doing that on the 17th?
Are we not?
I thought I still have it accounted for in this game.
Oh, well then fucking don't listen to me.
And then on March 31st we have Jojo. Yep. And then on April 14th we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean Part 2. And then after that we're breaking format a little bit, but it'll be great.
It'll be great.
It'll be great.
It'll be very fun.
Let me start with this. There is a new show premiering on Adult Swim this spring called Lazarus, directed by our boy Shinichiro Watanabe, who did Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo and Space Dandy and Carol and Tuesday and all sorts of great stuff. And we're going to be covering all of those in the lead up to the end of Lazarus, where we will cover that as well. So that's going to be its own mini series that is going to take up basically like from the end of April all the way through to like the beginning of July.
Yes. And for those keen-eyed observers, that does mean
we're redoing Cowboy Bebop.
We're redoing Cowboy Bebop. We are finally going to actually cover Cowboy Bebop
in its entirety.
That is probably going to be a very long episode.
It will. We'll have to block out some time in our schedules for that.
Be prepared for that to be a 3
I'll have to make real damn notes.
I'm actually serious. Be prepared for that to be a 3 to 4 hour episode.
Yeah.
Because we may even factor in, it may be a Patreon episode. We may just do it as part of the episode, the movie.
I was thinking we would do the movie and then like some of his like short films and like, you know, anthology segments as a Patreon.
Sure, yeah.
Because, well, we probably won't have a lot to say on the movie itself, but
I'm not kidding.
You know,
2.5, 3 hour long episode on Cowboy Bebop. I promise you, I have a lot to say about this show.
Yeah. But yeah, we're doing Cowboy Bebop on April 28th and Samurai Champloo on May 12th. And, you know, we'll have the full schedule up. But just letting you know how it's going, you know, it's going to be like 1 week, then 2 weeks, and then the next thing. And, you know, we're breaking form a little bit, but then by July, we'll be doing Lazarus. And then we'll have a new long-running show that we were supposed to do before this happened. And we kind of put it on the back burner. But, like, you know, that one's also a cultural touchstone of anime. So we should... You know.
That one's going to be some homework, yeah.
Yeah.
Fun homework, but homework.
Though not as long as JoJo's, so.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess the version...
JoJo's is like 130 episodes.
JoJo's manga is actually longer than One Piece.
That's not true.
It is.
That is not true.
It is.
That can't be true.
The JoJo's manga is longer than One Piece.
Does the One Piece show then just have like a fuck ton of filler in it?
No. I mean, so yes, but not in the traditional sense. So like Naruto had filler episodes where like just fully entirely it was a break from what the manga was doing. It was a different story that was not integral to the actual plot that the original author was putting to page, and that was a constraint of time. Similarly with the original Full Metal Alchemist before Brotherhood, they had to do their whole own ending. Because they ran up to everything that had been published so far and had to start writing new shit.
Oh, they did a Game of Thrones. Okay.
Yeah, exactly like they do with the Game of Thrones. What they do with One Piece is sometimes they will rerun story bits. Like, they will have an episode, and then half of the next episode will be the last half of the episode before it, and then new stuff. So they do, like...
Okay.
It's like, it's paced horribly.
Okay.
Is the answer. Hello?
Hi. What's up?
We are.
Kelsey, come on the show sometime. Anyways, yeah, but to bring it back, we're doing the whole thing. We'll do a full announcement with all the dates on Bluesky.
Yes.
And, it'll all be on our website, howtootaku.com. Howtootaku.com/chippy. But yeah, what else do we have to say? Like, Foo Fighters gets fucking decked twice.
Rest in peace, Foo Fighters.
You think she's gone the first time, or they're gone. Sorry, my bad. You think they're gone the first time, but then they come back, they have a last hurrah, and then they're gone for real. Yellow Ghost,
Rest in peace, Foo Fighters. Yeah, Golden Cloud and everything. Oh,
yeah.
damn.
Dave Grohl has lost so much.
He has. Damn shame.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like, I really.
Oh yeah, Dio Baby.
Dio Baby.
We gotta talk about Dio Baby.
The green bone and the Dio Baby.
Yeah.
We will. I promise you, there will be more for us to say about green bone and Dio. Like, we will get into the weeds on the next episode.
But the Dio Baby also has like a fucking weird ass stand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like just like the whole if you get halfway there, you shrink half in size, and then if you get another halfway there, so like you literally cannot ever get there.
If you fall on Dio Baby,
yeah, you're gone. Reduced to atoms.
You're reduced to less than atoms.
Yeah. I used the stand to destroy the stand.
But and Dio Baby and Sea Moon and fucking all of it went like that. That culminates.
Yeah, it does.
We'll get somewhere with that.
Yeah, but like just crazy shit that
bizarre even.
Dio Baby.
It's not crazy. Dio has several babies. Dio has so many.
No, but
babies.
this is like Dio as a baby in a certain way, right? Like it's like literally his bones, so like it's just his DNA. So like I assume it's just going to be like another freaky variation of Dio, It's not like Giorno, who was like his own thing,
You think we're gonna have like green zombie Dio running around?
I don't fucking know what we're gonna have, This show is impossible to predict, Like, I would genuinely give $1,000 to anybody who could predict how Part 5 was going to end. But
show them the first 5 episodes, ask them what
happens next.
What is King Crimson, what does it do, and how do they beat it?
Yeah.
And if they can tell you exactly what happens, give them $1,000.
Yep.
But yeah,
that's
part 6, part 1.
Yeah, for now. Like, I'm just trying to run through the Rolodex and be like, what didn't we talk about? I don't really think there's anything we didn't talk about. But
we covered there are a handful of other stand fights that we didn't go crazy into, but it's like
it's still the same stand fight shit where it's like, oh my god, that happened, and it's like, oh no, what do they do now? Oh shit, why didn't I think of that?
We're not gonna talk. We're not gonna run through every single fight frame by frame because you watch the damn show. Yeah. You don't need us to.
Yeah, but we're close to the end, man.
We're close to the end. We're almost done with JoJo's.
We're almost there. And if you, dear listener, want to catch up on the rest of JoJo's or be here to listen to us finish JoJo's, then you should consider following or subscribing wherever you're listening right now.
Follow, subscribe.
Yeah, us. Leave us a review or a comment.
The end card is going to have the playlist for the rest of the JoJo's episodes if you need to listen to that.
That's right. Check out our website, howtootaku.com, for other links and schedules and other nerdy shit. Howtootaku.com/chippy.
For whatever that is going to be.
Yeah. Now,
it's a mystery. It's a secret surprise.
It's a little secret surprise. Now, next episode is going to be Hellsing Ultimate.
Hellsing Ultimate, yeah.
And then...
and just to prepare you for that, those are 40-minute episodes, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, but yeah, that's... I mean, follow us on Bluesky. That's really the only other thing left. Oh, TikTok, I guess, is still around.
Still technically around. We've been kind of dropping the ball on clips a little bit lately.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do.
We've kind of just separated ourselves from all the software that just does clips.
Yeah.
And by the time I get done editing the episode, I'm like, okay, well, I've edited.
I don't want to touch this again.
Right. I'm like, I did the edit, so I'm done. I brushed my hand. Well, it's like I need to go start watching the next show. I need to.
I actually wonder how Descript runs now that I've upgraded my RAM. Like, I wonder if it was an internet issue or a RAM issue. But anyways, yeah, that's all we got for you. Until next time, I've been Josh.
I've been Brogan. See you, Space Cowboy.